All right, welcome back. Here we are in the second tutorial of building our rock. We already went through the process in PhotoScan, and today we're going to take our mesh and clean it up, cap it off, and create a low poly version of it, as well as setting up the UVs and reprojecting the detail to our low poly and create a high poly version of it. So let's go ahead and get started, and we will go ahead and import our rock that we have, which is rock scan. If you haven't seen the photo scan, I suggest you go back and check it out on how we created the rock using the photos. So let's open him up. All right, let's go ahead and drag him onto our canvas there. T for edit. Now we're in edit mode. As you can see, I got the floor on right now over here. And we can tell that he is not orientated correctly. We'll fix that here in a second. First, I want to go ahead and we'll change it over to matte cap gray, and we're going to go ahead and load up our texture. We'll import that texture, rock scan, double click it, and I got him loaded up. Click on him, got to flip the vertical real quick. Alright, now you can go ahead and open up texture map over here for your model. Click on rock scan. There we go. Let me clear him off now. Alright, we close that panel up. And let's go ahead and get him reoriented here. So I'm going to hold down shift and there we go. Got him on a side there, and we'll just use a transpose line. Drag it out just a little bit, and we'll rotate him here. Okay, we got that fixed. Let's turn him on a side here. May have to rotate a little bit this way. There we go. We got him pretty much centered up now. He's nice and flat where he should be. So let's go ahead and clean up some of that garbage. Make sure you're on select rectangle for your selection. And we'll do a control shift and then hold down alt to change it to negative. We're going to get rid of all that junk right there. Let's go to another angle here. I might switch it over to select lasso. We'll go ahead and turn off the floor. We don't need that anymore. Let me zoom in just a little bit so we can see. Same process, control shift, hold down alt, makes a negative selection. And all we're doing is just hiding those polygons for the moment. Clean it up just a little bit more. Okay. Let's go down to display properties, and you can click on double so we can see the back side of the polygons. Alright, looks good. And go to geometry, go to modify, and we want to, where's that? Delete hidden. We're going to get rid of all those polygons now. So now we want to close up that bottom hole there. Let me see if we got any stray bits around here. I don't think we do. Now you could do the operation of just close holes, but let me show you what happens when you do just close hole. Give it a second there. Okay, as you can see, it did cap it off, but it did destroy the UVs of the model. So I'm going to do Control Z, and we're going to go about it a different way here. Oh, look, another hole. Okay. Okay, so we'll go about it a different way. So first, let's go ahead and go to our masking options here. We're going to do click off groups, and then we want to select border, mask by feature here. Okay, you don't really notice anything except that little edge there is now masked. So we do control click outside the model, and now just that hole is unmasked. And first I want to go ahead and make sure we don't have a mask around that small hole right there, which we do. I want to go ahead and just mask it because I want the operation for for that big hole for the moment. And scale back out just a hair. We're going to do a scale operation. Click on that little white circle there, and that'll center it to the polygons that are unmasked. And then go ahead and do a scale. As you can see, we're just stretching it into the model there. And then we're going to zoom in just a little bit, actually quite a bit, so we can see one of these edges. And then go over to your Z modeler, so do B, Z, and then Z modeler. So I got him down here in my UI, so you may see me go click on my UI every once in a while. So now we just need to find an edge, right click, and go to close, concave hole. So let's go find one of those edges. Might be a little tricky. And then click it, wait a few seconds, because it's working with a lot of polygons there. And there we go. It capped off that one area for us. And if I zoom back out, it did not destroy the UVs. Our texture map is still in place, and that's exactly what we wanted. So now let's unmask here, and let's go to that little hole over here. See if we can find an edge. Scale in, and let's see if we just do that close hole real fast, see what happens. Okay, cool. Looks like it capped it off just fine. Perfect. Zoom back out. All our UVs are still playing nice. That's awesome. And let's see, if we do real quick, if we do go under polygroups and auto group with, yeah, just regular auto group, it'll take whatever islands we have and make them their own polygroup. And let me do control click right here on the model itself, and I can see that there's a slight difference between total points and active, which means that we had a few stray bits and pieces outside the model. So we're going to go ahead and just do another delete hidden, and there we go. It got rid of all those little stray points that you would probably never see unless you were zoomed in on them. So those are gone, and they won't cause any conflicts later. So now, how do I make that bottom side there look like something from up here? Well, that's not too hard. What we're going to do real fast is we're going to go to Subtool. We're going to create a duplicate of this. And then we're going to pick an area that we might want to use. So maybe this area back here would be a nice one, because the colors are kind of similar. Let me change them to flat color. So the colors are a little bit similar. You know, if this color to this color here are a little bit similar, so that might help us out a bit. So let me go ahead and do, actually I'm going to select lasso, and we'll do a quick selection here. And remember, we're duplicated here, so that's going to help us. Hold on. When you're using select lasso, make your selection real fast, because it will, I don't know if it's got like a little time limit on it or something, but it'll just stop randomly, and it's just really annoying. I'm sure there's something in preferences I could do to fix that. So we're going to deselect some of this stuff. Get rid of that little island in there. We don't need those little pieces. Alright, we'll use that piece to merge onto the bottom of our other piece. So go ahead and do another delete hidden. And let's go ahead and click on take off solo and do transparency. Now we can see our new little piece we made, and now we just got to cap them off on the bottom there. So let's go ahead, put them on a side here, And we're going to do some more rotation. Go ahead and click your little white circle there to center them up. And we'll turn them 90 degrees real fast. Do a quick move. Click that center one to move it with the camera space. So as we can tell, he's pretty large in comparison to where we're trying to move him. So we'll go ahead and click that circle again to center him up. And we'll do a quick scale. Just lower it down, center him up again, do some rotation. Kind of get them close to where we need them. It's not too bad. So, alright, let's go ahead and turn transparency off. Let's go down here and see what we're looking at here. May do kind of a scale operation using the move here. Kind of want to scale them that way. I don't want to do too much stretching because it won't look real. And I may just use the regular move now. Just kind of line them up a little bit better. I'm not going to get super perfect with this one. You can obviously take a little more time with it. So now we got to try to bridge the gap here a little bit. So we'll do a little more moving here. Remember, the more moving you do, the more you're going to stretch that texture out and the polygons out. So try to keep it as minimum as possible. It's a lot of trial and error here. Alright, so not looking too bad. So now we can do another brush real quick. So B, Z, and project. And depending on where your camera is at, that's where it's going to project the model down to any visible models. So that's what we're doing here. May turn down the intensity real low. Be kind of hard to see when you have a flat color on, so change it back to matte cap gray so you can see a little shadow information there and kind of tell what you're doing. And we're just trying to blend that edge to kind of conform to the rock underneath it. And the color, I'm not worried about the color at the moment. We will fix that shortly once we blend the details together. Alright, so let's go back to our Z project. And like I said, it all depends on where the camera is pointed. And that's where it'll project down. So you just got to work your way around the model until it kind of blends together. Alright, like I said, I'm not going to go crazy trying to make it super duper perfect. You guys can certainly take a lot more time with it. So, and obviously the colors don't match quite at the moment. That's fine. We'll get that fixed. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and solo him real quick. And I want to cap him off just to make the welding of the models better when we do a Dynamesh. So let's go ahead and just do the same procedure like we did earlier. Go ahead and do masking, mask by feature, the border, inverse that, and then we'll do just a quick move. Let me draw out a line here real fast. There we go. And then just click that center circle and then just hold down shift and that'll constrain it. We want him to dive into the model a little bit and do a quick clip curve, and then we're gonna straighten him out just a little bit. All right, that kind of straightened him out. So go ahead and do a scale. Draw out another one. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead, zoom in. We'll go do our little trick with the Z modeler. I gotta zoom in real close so I can see it. It ain't pretty. Find a nice big, there we go. Cool. Capped him off and unhide him. All right, so now we can see those edges a little better. So now we know that we need to move him in just a little bit here and there. So we can just use a move. Turn him down a little bit. Just so we don't get that harsh edge of the two parts blending together. Like I said, this ain't perfect, but it's not bad. The results I've gotten from it, it works out really well, and you'll never really know that it was like two separate pieces. But obviously we still need to fix the color, which is coming up very soon. But first, we gotta get rid of that little harsh edge. And I think we about got it. Looks like it just got that little piece right there. Alright, zoom back out. Just go back to a flat color, just see how they blended together. Not too horrible. Obviously, we need to do some more blending. But we now have our two pieces. We're capped off down there. So go ahead and go up to your subtools real fast. And we are going to create basically a copy of these two merged together. So merge visible. There we go. And do an append. Merged rock. Let me solo him. Alright, change the color or the material, matcap gray. Yeah, it's not going to be bad at all. And now we're going to fuse these two models together. Go into geometry, open up Dynamesh, turn off project, raise your resolution to 1024, and go ahead and click Dynamesh. And still working on it. Give it a second to process here. There we go. It's all fused together now. And actually increase the resolution just a little bit, but that's all right. We're actually going to start working on our low res. Now that it's one solid mesh, and if you're not sure, you can do a select rectangle, and we'll just take a look right here in the center of it. And let me click double real fast. So it does look like we have any oddball points kind of floating in space. Inverse that selection. We look at the top cap, bottom cap. Yeah, perfect. All right. Yeah, it looks like we missed a few spots here and there. I'm content with that. Like I said, you guys can take a lot more time to fuse them together. So going to your deformations, we're going to do a polish here. We're going to do about 20 on the polish because we're going to erase a lot of that high frequency detail. And I'm going to go ahead and repeat to active. All right, so this way we'll get rid of some of that detail like I said. Go under geometry, we're going to turn off Dynamesh so we don't accidentally re-Dynamesh anything. And we're going to go to Z Remesher to make a nice quad-based model here. Change your target down to 4, adaptive size to 20. And what we're really targeting is about a 4,500 to a 6,000 polygon face model. And I found that that works quite well in all the other programs. Granted, it's not super low res, but you can always create a smaller cage eventually, you know. But this particular way I'm doing it now provides like the highest detail that you can really get in a low poly model. So give it just a second here, and we should have a decent mesh to look at. All right, there we go. We ended up with just a little over 5,000 active points, which should be 50, 65 polygons. So that's not bad at all. That's about where I want it to line up. So we're going to take a look around here. I just like to take a look around the mesh and see if there is any artifacts generated. Sometimes it will weld a polygon kind of weird. So I'm just taking a look around, see what I see. I'm not really noticing, maybe right here. Zoom in, take a look. Let's see. No, he just kind of dove in there, looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and smooth him out just a little bit. There we go. But yeah, I'm just double checking, make sure usually in these deep holes here, that's usually where you'll find some errors. But it looks like it did a real good job, and that's where that polish came in handy. Smoothed everything out. It didn't have to think so hard about it. So now what we need to do is create a couple UV islands for it. So we're going to use the slice curve to create 2 UV islands by creating 2 polygroups. So I'm just trying to find a decent angle to slice this up. So I may slice them like right around here. So let's go ahead and try this. And if you tap Alt at any time, it'll create a new point. And then you can curve it like that. Take a look around here. Sometimes when you slice it, you may accidentally slice in here, so you'll want to try again. But I think this will do very good. So let's go ahead and open up UV Master and turn off Symmetry, Polygroup in this, and go ahead and do an unwrap. All right, created two islands generated, and that's exactly what we wanted. If you see more than 2, there's a stray polygon out and about, so just hit flatten, and there you go. 2 really well done UV islands there. You lose out on probably about a third of the UV space, but that's still really not too bad for what we're modeling here, so we'll unflatten. I'm happy with that. If you go under polygroups again and just do a group visible, we're going to change it all back to 1 polygroup. And there we go. So now we can unsolo him. And now we can start doing our projection onto our brand new low polygon mesh. So go ahead and under subtool, make sure that is turned on, the little paint thing there, and we'll double click that. And real quick with the rock scans, let's go ahead and merge down. Make sure you turn UV on, merge down. I'm going to solo this so we can see it. Turn off polyframe, merge down. All right, so it's taken both of them, merged them down, still holding on to the texture map. But to project our detail, it can't use texture map. So you have to go under poly paint. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and do a divide first. I'm going to divide this. So now it's 10 million polygons. And now you can go ahead and take your texture map, well, not texture map, poly paint, and poly paint from texture. Alrighty. So the texture map, yep, he's turned off. So now it's just all poly paint data, which is exactly what we want. So let's go back to, if you hit N, oh wait, there's only two of them, so I got to go down to your rock scan or your low res. Let's rename him. Just rename him rock low. Alright, so before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and save this bad boy real quick. Cancel, move him up top. Now save as rock low, save. Just in case we lose it here. You never can tell. Alright, before I do anything else, I am going to go to each one of these tools real quick. I'm going to go under Edit, Delete, Undo, go under Rock Scan, and Edit, Delete, Undo. And if you see, I got it up here as well. So I'm just freeing up some memory so it's not so taxing on the computer. Alright, so we're on rock low. Even under solo, it will still project the data. So go ahead and go to under the project tab and do a project. And it should project, yep, projected everything. Oh, didn't. Make sure RGB and Z-add are on. Project all again. Alright, so now we start the process of dividing. Project all. And we'll do this step till we get to a subdivision of 6. So we'll divide again. Each time you subdivide, it takes a little bit longer. There we go. We'll divide again. Project all. Like I said, it takes a little longer each time you subdivide here. Alright, we'll divide again. And I'm going to project. I'll probably pause it now and wait until it's done. Alright, we're at subdivision 5 now. We're going to divide one more time. Now we're at 5.403 million points. And I'm going to do our last projection. Actually, before I do that, I forgot to do something with the rock scan. Let me go to the rock scan. No, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it to the low poly here. You'll see what I'll do here in a minute. So we're at subdivision 6. I'm going to project for the last time. Go ahead and pause this and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we are done projecting all our information from the scan data, and it looks like we did a really good job there. Obviously, we got some stuff that we got to correct, but that is not a big deal. So you can go ahead and do delete other, which will delete everything but the one you're selected on. Don't accidentally hit delete all. There we go. So now we just have our brand new mesh, with all the subdivisions intact. Boom. All right, so let's go back up to high, and we will start cleaning everything up. Do a quick save. Save, yes. And just curious, load tool. Cool. And it's about 91 megabytes, which is pretty good in comparison to the the scan itself, which was probably about, I think it was probably about 256 megabytes. So yeah, saves a little bit on memory here. So let's go ahead and clean this bad boy up. Let's start with just cleaning up those rough edges down here from the projection, as you can see. So go ahead and hold shift, and as you're holding shift, deselect the RGB. We're going to lower the Z intensity a little bit, and maybe the draw size. And I'm just going to go in and clean up those harsh edges, pull them back. Go ahead, pause this, and then I'll come back after I am done smoothing everything out. All right, I think I got it all cleaned up there, at least all the geometry hiccups there, and that's just due to the two pieces together and it trying to project through them. So you'll get little artifacts like that, but it's quick and easy to clean up. So now let us try to fix our color. I'm going to switch it over to flat color and so we can see it a little easier without all the shadows. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to turn off Z add, turn out RGB intensity to about maybe 10 to start with. And I'm going to change, we're going to move over to standard. Let me fix all these settings again. Do about 10. All right. So under your strokes, I want to change it to a color spray. And we'll just try size 10 here for the time being. And I'm going to go ahead and click C. And what it does, it'll actually capture whatever color my cursor was on at the time. And let's see what that does for us. I may turn down the intensity real low here, just so we can start blending some of these colors together, and then just go pick up different colors. Just you can even pick up some of the white, put some of the white back. I'm going to turn that intensity down real low. Yeah, okay, yeah. Keep that intensity super low so it blends a little better. May take a little longer, but payoff at the end will be a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and probably pause the video here and do all this cleanup because you guys sitting here watching this is probably boring you to tears, so hold on. Alright, I'm done doing all the little blending of colors there. Granted, it still looks a little blurry and all that. Got a little trick here that we can do. I'm going to zoom in just a bit, close this up. And I want to get a good shot of this area right here. The more texture I get, the better. So I'm going to switch over to mRGB grabber, which is right there, and go ahead and switch. It'll flatten it back down, and what we want to do is just capture our texture here. Try to capture the dark area. And it'll also grab alpha, which I'm not really going to use. So let's go ahead and go back to our rock low, do a Control N to clear the canvas again, and open them back up, T for edit. Now let's go ahead and go to our standard brush. I'm going to make sure Z sub is turned off. We'll have the RGB. I may bring him up to about 50. We'll see how that works. Open up your texture and do this grab that it made. We're going to zoom in here and we're going to see if we can blend this a little bit better. Alright, so Control Z that. I'm going to change the intensity. Let me see. Let's look at the focal shift. There we go. Now let's see how that looks. Control Z. Change the focal shift to about maybe 50 or 45. There we go. Now it'll blend a little bit better. Drag and drop this a little bit. Populate it. Just to give our rock a little bit more detail. Get our blend a little more detail, I mean. And you can do multiple grabs, so you can grab a couple different alphas and textures. I'm just going to stick with this one for time. And then just go around to these little blurry areas here and just add some more detail to it, just some more texture data. So it will blend in a little bit better. Try to hide some of those alpha lines there, texture lines. Just a little added touch there. Just to give it the illusion it is all one piece. Hold on, thought I saw something. Right, let's take a look there. Not too bad. Blended it nice and neat. Maybe slap one right here, maybe. Do a little bit right there. Okay. I think we are good for there. Like I said, this is gonna be just our base color that we're going to use in Substance Painter. But don't want to have to fix too many things when I'm inside Substance Painter. So the more we do now, the easier it is in there. Alright, so I am happy with that. Go ahead and clear out that texture. Just go back to regular freehand. And go ahead and save our rock again. There we go. Alright, so now for the final tidbit that we have to do inside ZBrush. We've pretty much cleaned up our mesh. Looking pretty good. Looks like one solid rock there. I'm going to go ahead and go under Deformation real quick. Click Unify. This way it kind of centers the model in ZBrush's world coordinates there. And do one more save before we do anything else. And now we are going to go to another plugin. we're going to go to multi-map exporter, and there's just a few things that I need to export out. And we're going to export out the mesh. We're going to export out texture by using the polypaint information. And then we're going to export out a displacement map, because inside Substance Painter it cannot bake displacement maps. So just food for thought there if you cannot create one inside Substance Painter. So we're going to do it in here first. And I think I want to add just a little more detail before we leave. Want to go ahead and do a masking real quick. I want to do a mask by color and do it by intensity. We will inverse the selection. I'm going to do a Control H. I want to change the material color so I can see the deformation a little bit better. I'm going to go to inflate, and I think I want to go just -3. And really can't see a whole lot. Let me repeat. All right, Control Z. So I just want a very subtle deformation. Let me Control Z again. I think we'll do -4. There we go. Kind of gets little scalloped edges there, which look really cool. Kind of makes the textures pop. And then anywhere else that we had textures, that in our new piece down here, it kind of blends everything together a little bit better for us. Alright, so I'm good with that. We go ahead and clear our mask, and I'll just change it back to flat. And now save one more time, and then we're going to do our map export here, multi-map exporter. Got everything clicked on that I need. Make sure go down to export options under displacement map. Make sure it's set to subdivision level 6. Just match your subdivision level. Under export, make sure it's subdivision level 1, quad. Make your map size 8192, which would be 8K map. And everything is set up, so now all you got to do is create all maps. We're going to do a new folder here. We're going to call it textures. Open that up and click save. And it will go through the process real quick. And I'll be right back when it's done. All right. All said and done there. Everything is exported out. We can go find those maps real quick. And let's see. There it is. It has created our displacement map. Whenever it loads up, there we go. Highly detailed. And then also created our color map. Nicely blended together. Looks good. And one more deal before we leave, Zbrush. Want you to go ahead and click on Polymesh 3D. I'm going to change that flat color again. There we go. And go back to white. White. There we go. Fill object. There we go. And we want to import our new rock low here. And I want to go ahead and export him out as an FBX, because with FBX I can have a smooth normals turned on, and whereas a regular object being sent out does not do that. So just remember that. So export FBX rock low, save it in our textures there, and we are all done inside ZBrush. Now we will be able to move on to Substance Painter and render out our pretty little rock inside Marmoset. And I will see you in the next video. Catch you in the next one.